Welcome to Women of the Mafia with Bill Staxx.
And Lisa Luminae. That was such a cool beginning. Oh my God. Some notable broads.
Shout out to everybody who's joining us today. I appreciate you taking the time to watch this show. So we got a phone number that you can call into the show and voice your opinion if you have one. So how are you doing? How you doing?
I'm good. I love that beginning. That was so cool. Yeah, a lot of girls in that one. Yeah, a lot of notable. I saw Virginia Hill. I saw Janice. Yeah, man. Some of them, they just look so fabulous going through some horrible stuff. And I love that.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about a lot of it. We have a lot of we have an episode we already recorded about Janice Drake, and we have a bunch of stuff that we're gonna be bringing you guys. So if you want to call into the show, the number is 860-414-0303, and you can always donate to the channel too. Cash App is in the description of the video. What's
Whatever
up, Yankees
keeps
for
us
life? Keeps us afloat, right?
Yeah, that's right. Keeps us out of porn, off the pole. At least maybe not Bill, but me for sure. Keeps me off the pole,
too. I won't have to DJ. Gianni, what's good with you, man? How are you doing, bro? Richie, what's up?
Look at that. What's up, people?
Yeah, so do you want to introduce yourself to the people? For the people
Yeah, I always say to when people ask me about what I do, I'm from New Orleans, and basically I'm just, notorious for my sins. No, just kidding. No, no, I've been in New Orleans media for 20 years. And, this is just one of the things I get down on. I'm just really curious about all mafia, and here in New Orleans, we have a lot of ties here. So of course, I go down the rabbit hole. Apparently this is where, the whole JFK assassination plot was, thought about. This is where the brainchild happened, right here.
The Dixie Mafia, right?
The Dixie Mafia, that's right. Oh my God, we have some really cool stories too. So I was just talking to a friend of mine who was an ex-cop, and he was telling me about two judges that got offed in Mississippi in the 70s by the Dixie Mafia. Yeah, it was such a crazy story. I know. It's so crazy. But yeah, I love that type of stuff. So yeah, that's just what I get down with. And, you and I, we just we vibe. So, let's talk about it.
These stories, yeah.
Yeah, let's talk about it, man. Let's talk about it. And, for me, like I've told you before, I always feel like these women, Karen Hill, Ginger from Casino, I feel like they don't get a fair shake. You know what I mean? We have these descriptions that are all from the man's viewpoint. And who are these men really? They're dicks. Let's be real. I don't think Henry Hill was the most stand-up guy. You know what I mean? Let's admittedly, he says that himself. But what I'm saying is how Lefty, for example, how do we know everything he's saying is true? You know what I mean? I'm sure he wasn't an easy guy to be married to. You know what I mean?
They say that what's it? That a lot of them are lying. A lot of people embellish things. And
well, do you remember I was telling you her death was okay, so in the movie, we have the famous death scene with Sharon Stone, up against the wall, and, the cool songs playing and all that. And so we have his narrative of her getting the hot shot, right? Well, yeah, that's a totally true story. But apparently they think Lefty gave her the hot shot, not himself, but one of his men, because apparently they were going through, this divorce. And she says, meet me at the Beverly Hotel or something. And all I know is she ends up dead in the lobby at some point. So they think she's passing out, and she's dead in the lobby. And this is after she gets out a mysterious dark vehicle,
This is the one that had that was with Bugsy, right?
Yeah, no, Tony, the crazy one, who had the brother beaten up in the cornfield. Yeah, yes. There we go. Yes, so that was his buddy. Yeah, and by the way, one of the most savage scenes in cinema, in my opinion, that really mirrors the real life, hit of those two brothers. Now, from what I understand, they got beaten to death in a basement and then transported to the cornfield. But if you see the pictures of them dead, it legit, that's what they look like. They were beaten.
So that's what they look like. They surprised them, and they grabbed them in the basement.
Right.
This dude had a gun on him too, I believe. One of them had a gun on him.
But, apparently he had this ongoing public affair with, Ginger, who was also a Vegas showgirl, and I always wonder about his daughter too, because apparently he had a daughter, Amy, who, she wasn't the best mother. But again, we're just getting Lefty's version of it. So, and he still says to this day that Ginger was responsible for having him blown up. So I don't know.
Ramundi, what's good with you, man? We got Anthony Ramundi in the chat.
What's
Yanks for
up?
life. Joey Ayupa. Mike John, what's up, bro? Good show, Staxx. She's pretty. Would like to hear about the 2 cops getting killed in the Dixie Mafia that takes.
Oh, okay. This is a cool story. Oh man. Okay, so you have to Google this one. So I actually went down there so apparently back in the day, Biloxi was like freaking awesome. Now pre-Katrina, it was awesome, but we were known for having some sketchy casino dealings, right?
Yeah.
I heard these stories about Elvis coming down here too. So I have some great stories about Elvis coming down here. Apparently he liked the girls down here, and I'm saying girls. But anyway, so yeah, it was a judge and his wife, and the wife apparently had run for like city council, and the judge was responsible for putting some of these Dixie Mafia guys away, and he was known for being very conservative, very right-wing, and the Dixie Mafia had a strip of land that they were trying to make into a strip club, and they were trying to operate drug use out of the strip club. So basically, and basically using the strip club as a front, funneling the money and the, drugs through it, and, I guess prostitution as well. So basically this judge is trying to get them on corruption charges, and both he and his wife end up shot in the head in Biloxi. Now the neighborhood, everything has been lost since Katrina, but like I actually went to the old neighborhood, and it's so creepy to know what happened there. So they ultimately found, I think, who ordered the hit, but they didn't find the actual people who carried it out. And I mean, when I tell you they walked in their house and just capped them in the head, they capped them in the head. Yeah, so it's a notorious story. Notorious story.
A couple of Dixie Mafia members.
Yeah, and apparently they're really savage. So like one of the stories I heard that they were doing is like, it's very strange, but it was like gay, like dating services from in the prison where they were funneling money from like wealthy gay guys. It's so crazy. It was like a sweethearts. Yeah, it's like, I guess when they got locked up, they just got very clever, and so they're like, how can we make money? And that's how they started doing it. They, would post in the back of these pornographic magazines and get these guys that thought they were writing to, I guess, other guys. So yeah, it's a really cool story. I'm gonna have to look it up, but I love, stuff like that,
Matter of fact, you have an interesting story that you were telling me right before we got on this. Here, let me show a picture, and then you can explain the picture.
All right. Oh God. Yeah, so like, dude, F my life. What the hell? I was like, okay, so like we got to talk about this. So yeah, that's the Doomsday mom. Are you guys following this shit? Okay, I'm cursing, sorry, because I'm like so worked up about this. Okay, so first off, I was like talking to a friend of mine. So I grew up in San Antonio and Austin, mostly in Austin in the 90s. Loved Austin. Austin was so cool, but my time there was punctuated by like 2 really bad crimes, and there was a lot of stuff that happened. But notably, my dad was working for this radio station, KHFI Radio, 96.7, top 40. And there was a night jock his name was Bo Nasty. And all the girls liked him. He was just, atypical 90s guy, very famous and whatnot. My sister had a little crush on him. But I specifically remember meeting his sister, who was this very pretty blonde girl. And she was a beauty queen. And I remember specifically the story she told me, because she said her mother had always wanted a blonde, blue-eyed daughter. So she would dye her hair starting at 4 years old. So, I thought that was kind of weird. Anyway, come to find out, as I'm Googling today, just trying to figure out, where Bo Nasty ever ended up, that is his sister. So I was like hanging out with this chick. I was like 10 or 11 hanging out with this girl. Like, I remember we took a haunted hayride through Austin Hill Country, and I was sitting with this girl in the back of the hayride. So like, I remember specifically talking to this girl. I don't know, baby. Sorry, that's my little one. But yeah, so anyway, yeah, weird full circle. I was like apparently hanging out with a freaking Doomsday mom. And then today it turns out that her son,
her daughter, right?
Yeah, she killed apparently. Yeah, so she's like a Doomsday cult believer, and apparently thinks that her, the end of the world was coming. And so there's 5 suspicious deaths that are associated with her. Like her husband died, her children went missing. And I can just say from back then, even back then, I thought she was batshit. I really did. Like, I'm a pretty good judge, but like, she was a really pretty girl. I remember her being very pretty, and her wearing a really edgy leather coat and thinking she was really awesome. I was like 10 or 11. And I remember thinking she was really badass. And then turns out that she, freaking grew up to be the fucking Doomsday mom. What the
Turns out she
hell?
was badass.
What the hell? I know. And I'm just like, what the actual hell, dude? That's crazy to me. Yeah. And then her brother, who was the DJ, was the one that got in trouble for the Wii contest, where he, did.
This is the brother, right? The guy,
right? No, that's her son. Now her son got in trouble.
Her son just got arrested.
Yes, he just got arrested for, I think, like sexual assault or something. Yeah. So apparently not doing so good right there. Yeah. But so, and then her brother, he was a DJ. That's how I know him. And he did this contest called the Wii for a Wii contest. I think it was like in 2007. There was the Wii video games.
The Nintendo Wii first came out, right? And
so to win one, right? It was basically you drank a lot of water and you held your pee, and the girl ended up dying. Like, I'm not even joking. So he was in trouble for that. And, so that's, I guess they have the worst effing luck out of anybody ever who existed. You know what I mean? So yeah, go figure. So yeah, apparently, back in 1991 or 92, I was hanging out with the Doomsday mom and had no idea, so go figure.
Dies from holding her pee.
I know. That's a thing, man. It can happen. It can totally happen.
28 years old.
Yeah. Well, the messed up thing is that, during the broadcast, this nurse calls and says, because the girl kept saying, I don't feel good through the whole recording. And you can actually find it, I think, on YouTube. But she keeps saying, I don't feel good. I have a headache. And they're making jokes about how she looks pregnant and this, that, the other. And a nurse calls up and is like, hey, that can lead to death. And the DJ infamously says, well, did she sign the release? So I guess, what? And look, hey, my dad's a DJ. So like, they're kind of like, I don't want to say rock stars, but they think they are, So, Bo Nasty was a good guy, though. I will say that, So they're kind of like movie stars in their own heads.
They awarded the family $16 million.
Yeah, man. Well, I mean, I would have to think that they would, bear a little responsibility, I don't know whose brainchild, like who brilliant idea was that. And they didn't like,
of the woman that died. So let me show you guys a picture of the woman that died. It's insane.
So yeah, Jennifer Strange, I think her name was.
Jennifer Strange. Yeah. Strange things for that weed, man.
And like nowadays, you could like pick that up at a freaking pawn shop for like, $25 or something. You know what I mean? Like honestly, it was, were they even that great? I don't even think about it. But yeah, so yeah, what a weird, thing to happen. I'm just like, what the F,
got the man of the hour, Mr. Bill.
What's up?
In the house. What's up, Bill? We finally making it happen, man.
Yeah, talking about it for so long and finally executing.
Two words. Wise, don't hold your pee in. The word to the wise, don't hold.
You ever had to pee in like a weird, awkward place? Well, for you guys, it's so easy. Y'all can just pee anywhere. Like for us girls, it's like this big involved thing. You know what I mean?
I'm a DJ too, man. Hey, you didn't see all the stacks of cash I made doing the DJing, huh? I am a DJ, bro. I think my bank account says I am. All right, so let's talk a little bit about the story that we did on Janice Drake.
Wasn't she a hottie, man? Look at her. And y'all got to think that's like before plastic surgery. That's before BBLs. Like my girl just had it going on.
She was just hot. She didn't do any of that crazy shit.
No, man. She just, apparently did crazy shit. With bad guys.
Some lipstick probably, right?
Yeah, real. Look at her. God, I wish I looked that fabulous leaving a police station. I've never looked that fabulous leaving a police station. Not that I have, but.
Lucy, how are you? I've looked way better than that. You'll get that on Mugshot Monday, man. I'm gonna have my mugshot. I'm gonna get a copy of my mugshot.
That's hilarious.
I got a pretty bad one. So this is after she was with one of the guys that got
Matt
murdered.
Nelson, yeah.
Matt
So apparently,
Nelson.
yeah, this girl just had a thing for mafia guys. Or like, I bet you like they all had the same come online, like, hey girl, I'm connected. I could, get you into places. And she was like, okay, I totally won't end up shot to death in a car anytime soon or anything, sure. But yeah, so she ended up going out with like two guys who ended up getting rubbed out. And so there's this famous saying in the mafia, if you want to get rubbed out, go out with Janice. So she was considered like a mafia hex. Can you imagine? And still little Augie couldn't say no. The allure of the Panani was too much for him. You know what I mean? Let's
Obviously,
be
for a
real.
lot of these guys, for three
I know,
different
right?
guys. Lucy, what's up? How are you?
Yeah, well, so
Shout out
Nat
to Lucy.
Nelson, she's out with before, and they go, I think, to the Copa,
He was
and
a capo, right?
yeah, and so
Yeah.
she's out with him, and then what the newspaper says, and I think this is just to save face, but they said that the next day she, goes to go see him, and I think bring him his dry cleaning, and she walks in and passes up the guy who does the hit, and sees him in the hallway. But I think she actually spent the night there and was most likely, I hate to say this, but at the time a fast woman, and they were trying to save face because she was married with a, child. So,
And they
I think
dragged her into the police
and they
department. She
drag her
didn't say
in, yeah.
nothing.
And my girl's like, hold on, let me grab my gorgeous cloak and put it on. And so she puts her gorgeous cloak on because we all have that cloak that, if we were leaving, see, I mean, like, man, who has that kind of cloak? That's so cool. I love it. And I love how she's like, looking through like, what. But yeah, so apparently she, catch, and then there's, who's the other one? Albert Anastasia,
Albert
right?
Anastasia. She
And
was with
like,
Albert the day
apparently she's with him.
yeah, the
Yeah.
day before. The day before he gets killed.
So this girl just has either really bad luck or like maybe they were even like setting these dudes up with her. You ever think about that? Like maybe it
Yeah.
was just like, hey, the siren call, but not. You know what I mean? Like,
It could be. It could be that she was the person like getting these guys so that they would know where they're at.
Right.
Oh, he's gonna be getting a shave at this hotel in the morning. You could
Right.
just bang him out there.
Now, okay, Anastasia, he's the one that was he getting a shave? He was the one that got rubbed out while he was getting the shave, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I remember the picture of him like laying there. That's like the notorious picture. Yeah. I mean, these
Yeah.
guys too, like little Augie, he's not that great looking. So I guess she was more attracted to power. You know what I mean? Like you gotta wonder, like, was she, I hate to be
Gianni
this way.
Russo. Gianni
Was she,
Russo's in the building.
what's up, John
He
Russo?
says, I lost my virginity to Marilyn Monroe when I was 16. I believe it.
I love Marilyn Monroe. Oh my God. I believe it too. I believe it. Is it when he was her valet or something?
Hey, yo, Angry Sid, get your ass in the bathroom, man. Peace out, bruh. Don't scrub the dishes, homie. Yeah, I don't tolerate that. We're not gonna. We're not dealing with people like that over here. We got respect, and you're gonna have respect, or I'm gonna make you have respect. With the click of a finger, and your ass will be gone. But anyway, I was sitting next to Albert Anastasia when he got his shave when he got whacked. I believe that too, man. I was the hairstylist. So I believe maybe she was setting these guys up.
Yeah, could be. Could be. You got to wonder too, like, I mean, why usually in the mafia, when somebody's connected with the death of somebody and then they get dragged in by the police, either they get rubbed out because they think they ratted, or you would think they would distance themselves because they think that she might rat at some point. So it's kind of noteworthy to me that these guys kept going out with this broad. You know what I mean? Either
Because
she
little
was just,
Augie was a captain too.
yeah, and he was
If you
out with
think about
her.
it, Nat was a captain.
Yes, he was. You know what freaks me out about little Augie is that I think he got warned that night. I think your boy called him and warned him at the restaurant because they're at like Marino's restaurant or whatever. He gets this call at the table and he's like, we got to go. So he immediately starts leaving. Yeah, he gets, and so I think your boy warned him and was like, hey, they're going to get you. But your boy had thought about that, Genevieve's. And so he put two guys in the back and they just, got him with the gun to the back of the head. They said, drive to this, isolated spot. And, they fucking offed him, unfortunately. Yeah, what a way to go, though. I would be so scared. Can you imagine?
Yeah,
That's nuts. Yeah, there's little Augie right there.
They either got in the car when they came outside, like get in the car, or they were hiding in the back seat when they were driving away.
Well, did you see the thing I showed you about they had like 3 witnesses that were like 14 years old that actually like saw the 2 guys get into
Yeah,
the escape vehicle?
matter of fact, I have the comment. Let me show the comment.
Yeah, yeah. So I thought that was really interesting. And apparently their lives were like irreversibly changed after that. I can't see how you wouldn't be if you saw somebody shot like that. You know what I mean? Like that would probably mess me up also.
Yeah, they were young girls that they were going through a parking lot or something, right?
And they saw the whole thing go down. And then they saw 2 guys get into another dark car and then they went away. And so,
I
yeah, and
don't
they saw
know.
the bodies.
I don't know if the audience will be able to read that, but it says there's 2 14-year-old girls who've seen it, the little
Yeah.
Arlie shooting, and then they were brought down to the police department. There was 3 of them, and
Wow.
nothing ever ended up happening with that. Like
Isn't that something? Go figure.
went
And I
away.
wonder why they wouldn't, rub out the 14-year-old girls. I guess even in that one, they maybe a little honor amongst thieves, and even they thought that would be too much,
The bathroom has to tolerate Sid now. Yep, he's scrubbing the tiles, bro. When a guy is around the woman, his guard is down. Good time to hit a guy.
Oh, that
It's the
makes
truth.
sense.
You
That
know
makes
what?
sense.
It is
Yeah.
the truth too,
Yeah, I
because
believe that.
people use women all the time to
True. Yeah.
set up guys. Look at
Yeah.
Luciano. He used to run brothels, and he had a lot of
Yeah.
women at his disposal
Yeah.
to do things like that.
Right. Very true. Very true. Yeah.
Lisa, you know your stuff. Good stories. She
I do.
definitely does.
I'm so
That's
weird.
why she was a perfect connection for this show, for us to do a show like this, because she does know her stuff.
I do, and finally, I'm not weird for it, so that's always awesome because other people think it's totally weird. And Joey Gallo, they say,
Shooters for Albert was Carmine Persico and Joey Gallo. They say.
wow. And I always wondered, like these guys. Okay, so the guy who so she's considered collateral damage, they say. So I wondered to myself, because in the mafia they do have that like kind of noble rule of like you don't take out women and children. So this guy had to, because she had seen them, and I think for them they were just done with her. And they were just like, this, anyone who's around this bitch keeps getting killed, so let's just take her out with little Augie. Let's get 2 birds, 1 stone.
Captains and a boss.
Right, exactly. So I think that's what happened. And I think that, but I do wonder about the guy who had to do it. Like, did he feel crappy afterwards? You know what I mean? Because, apparently that girl, Arlene Weiss, who wrote that book, Mob Girls or whatever, she was dating that guy, Anthony, who was called Tony, and he told her,
Tony Mira, his name is.
Yes,
Tony
and apparently
Mira.
he says, she's collateral damage. It is what it is. So
Yeah,
I wondered to myself, I'm like, did he feel remorseful at all? Was he haunted? Would you be haunted by, the bones that you make? You know what I mean?
Probably. I think a lot of them probably are haunted.
Yeah, well, there's that famous line in Donnie Brasco where your boy's like, you don't think when I close my eyes, I see the bones I made, you know what I mean? Or whatever he says. So apparently, I guess you are, you know what I mean? I can't see where you wouldn't be. There's got to be some kind of human nature, and especially if it's a beauty queen,
We got a call coming in.
Oh, shoot. Here we go.
All right, let's see what we got. South Carolina. What's good? Can you hear me?
Yeah, hello?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yep.
All right. So are we on? I can't hear. I clicked on the number. And
Yeah.
when I did, it cut me off where I can't actually see or hear anything except what we're talking about.
Yeah, you can hear. They could hear you. I could hear you.
Yeah. I'm Charlie, man, and I was just wanting to ask the lady, what was the best years for the women in the mafia? What decade does she consider to be the best years for the ladies in the mafia?
Oh, God. Easy. None. All girls are set up to lose if you are with a mafia guy. I think in general, you're just screwed.
No, I can't hear very good.
Hold on. I'm trying to get it. I'm trying to connect it through the phone. Hold on. I'm trying to connect it through the laptop, man. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think any girl's gonna make out good who stays with the mafia at all. You know what I mean? I get it.
She said she doesn't think any girl's gonna make out good if she deals with the mafia at all.
No, I think it's.
Yeah, I understand. Well, okay, man. Well, I appreciate that, and that's my question. And
thanks.
Man, y'all have a good evening.
Yeah, thanks for calling in, man. Yeah, you too.
All right, man. Peace.
Later. That's
When he said
pretty.
question for the girl, I was like, oh.
That's pretty
You
dope,
never know.
man. If you guys
You
want to
never know.
call in. It's 860-414-0303. I'm going to use that phone number for when I do Chattin with Staxx too. And I'm going to have people calling in on both shows. But so I need someone to call in so I can see if I can connect it through the laptop. So if anyone out there wants to call in, hit up the line and we'll get it popping, man.
Maybe we need to start telling them about how we also operated as a sex phone line as well on after hours. That's what I've been doing anyway. So, you know, I don't know about you, Bill, but, you know, for me, that's where I've been, you know, doing my thing.
All my time off, that's what I'm doing. You know, extra money.
Yeah.
Peace out, partners in crime, man. Catch the full video later.
He's so cool.
I guarantee you that's what happened because these guys were both captains. They were both.
That's what I'm saying. And I don't think that you would risk it for, let's be real, a piece of pussy. Because these guys, you know, at the end of the day, they had to know that you're taking a goddamn risk if you're going to be out on a date at all. When you are refusing to have a sit down and there's a dynamic, a power dynamic, and you're going to go out to eat with a girl who's notorious for getting other guys whacked. I mean, and that's the thing about it.
And Vito, he was supposed to do a sit down with Vito Genovese, and he ended up not going and still going out on the town.
And still going out. And you know what I just read? Because I was like going down the rabbit hole in this. So like what I read about with Vito is that a lot of the soldiers, I guess, identified more with him because he was like blue collar and all that. So like a lot of them identified with him as Costello was more refined and, you know, I guess going on these lavish vacations. And I guess they felt kind of more at ease with him, you know? The only exception, the mob boss lady, is the Sopranos.
And then when, what's his name? When Frank Costello got shot.
Yeah.
By the chin. So we have that episode. It's not out yet, but I'm going to be dropping it probably in the next couple days.
And that's the one where he would have, if he like said his name, right? And so he actually survived it. Yeah. What a dumbass. So
the chin ran up and said,
I don't mean to laugh, but
I'm going to kill you. Hey, I want to shoot you in your head. And Frank Costello turned around and he ended up shooting him grazing him in the head and shooting him through his fedora. And he would have ended up killing him if he didn't yell his name.
That's hilarious.
Insane.
Not for him, but you know, for us, yeah. What a way to go out, too.
I'll try to find my burner phone. I'll talk to the hot guy on the left. Yeah, Vito was ruthless, too.
Yeah, a lot of them were. God.
Anastasia was known. He was watching TV and he saw a guy telling on another guy and he ordered his murder.
Go figure.
He saw somebody telling.
Go figure. That's nuts.
And now you got Sammy Gravano's and shit on YouTube.
I love watching Sammy on YouTube. Why is my dream? Okay, so I just realized the other day that you can like pay him to do a birthday wish. And I was like, why is it my dream to have him wish me happy birthday? Why am I like suddenly obsessed with having like Sammy the Bull be like, happy birthday, you know, like I would love if he went like that or something, you know, and I'd be like, yeah, man, you know, that's awesome. And who's the other guy? Michael Franchese, right? Michael Franchese. He has a YouTube channel and he's like saved or something. Yeah.
Shout out to Michael Franchese.
Yeah, that's how you say it. Yeah. Now you know, I actually like watching his YouTube channel too, you know?
Hold on, my alarm's going off. What's the alarm going off at 6:30 for?
I don't know.
Weird time, right? What's good, Evan? How you doing? Nice guy. What's good, man? So, matter of fact, since you're talking about Sammy Gravano, he released a podcast the other day. I was watching it, and what did he say? He's concerned about drugs in America.
Wasn't he like selling ecstasy not too long ago or something?
Yeah.
Am I wrong on that? Yeah.
Yes, he was.
Yeah, man. I remember that. Yeah.
So, you know, him being concerned with drugs, it really...
That's something. I oddly love him though. Don't you kind of love his story? I mean, I see a lot of people call him hypocritical and stuff, but I actually love that he kind of owns who he is. You know, isn't he feuding with somebody too? He's feuding with somebody.
He feuds with people, but
because I remember the one guy being like, "I'm gonna meet you in Central Park or something," and I'm like, "Dude, he's like
it's
80."
It's all bullshit because they're not doing nothing.
Of course not. It would be funny to see him though, his old ass show up. You know, I wouldn't mess with Sammy even now.
I have a strong opinion against Sammy the Bull because he tries to act like he's still a gangster. You're not a gangster. Yeah. You're trapped over there on the West Coast. You can't even come to New York City if you wanted to. It's part of his plea agreement that he could not ever come back to New York City.
Seriously, I didn't know that. Wow.
Yeah,
okay.
Sammy the Bull's not allowed in New York City.
Wow, I didn't know that. I saw on TikTok recently this guy who goes like in old houses and stuff, and he went outside John Gotti's old house, which was amazing to actually see the real house, because you know you've often seen it depicted in movies, but there it was. That was the real house. You know what I mean?
What's Mob Talk Radio guy. I think we're coming for them numbers. For all them mob people out there, we are coming for them numbers. We're going to bring you mob stories, and we're going to be one of the contenders out here. I believe that.
So, yeah, I do too. Yeah. Mafia made guy who wanted to meet Sam. Yes, Anthony Kikuchi. Anthony Kikuchi. Yeah, that's
Cayucci.
Yeah, okay. And speaking of wives, what happened to his wife?
His wife ended up dying.
I know, but okay. So let me be real. I was watching that night. She looked fine. What happened?
He just went to sleep. He woke up
and she died. And she was like 33 or something. Gorgeous girl. Gorgeous Australian girl. Now I don't want to say anymore because I don't want him coming for me because he gets pissed really easy.
He's a great guy. I had him on the show.
I know, he really is.
I had him on the show right after she passed away. God rest her soul.
His daughter,
situation. She does karate.
Sabella, that's her name. Okay, the daughter is amazing. She does that kung fu thing. She's incredible.
Same thing as Bruce Lee.
And he's obviously like an incredible father because you know he's got her trained so well. Like I've seen that little girl. Like he has her set up with this contraption where she's like karate kicking it 3 ways a Sunday. So
honestly, blessing God bless him. His daughter because I couldn't imagine losing my wife.
I know. And she was so beautiful, so young. I remember it was like right around New Year's, It was sad. Apparently he's a cool guy. So he's got a book called Mafia Made. I remember that book because I remember reading it before. And like the beginning of it, he talks about cleaning up blood off the floor for his father, John Gotti house in your house. Okay.
You get.
We got to keep hustling. What hustles, baby?
I'll whack your competition. Hey man, I'll put the losers in the bathroom. John Gotti
cement boots.
Go Monzo's house where they found $7 million in it.
Wow, go figure. That's crazy. What? That's nuts. Can you imagine finding $7 million in John Gotti? I would act like I never found it. You know what I mean? 1970s. Okay. See, and I love Gotti too because he's such like every man's hero type. Did you hear my baby bird?
We're gonna do a thing about Gotti. Maybe we could do one about Gotti and his wife.
Yeah, like oddly enough, I like him. Like I know he's a horrible person, but you have to kind of respect him because in an odd way, he kind of
walnuts, man.
Oh, what? Oh, thank you very much. So are you. Thank you. I'll take it. Thank you. Yo, Flattery will get you everywhere, my friend.
Don't forget to donate to the channel, man. It always helps. Chucky speaks Sally Bugs.
Oh, Sally Bugs. I just read about him. Wow, he was a fascinating character. Yeah, wasn't he like a hitman, right? Sally Bugs? Wasn't he like... He took people out left and right, huh? And wasn't he suspected in Hoffa's disappearance? Am I wrong?
There was a whole bunch of them. Sally Bugs.
Yeah, there was a couple of them, right?
Sally Burns.
Right. You know what I just saw the other day?
Sally Burns, matter of fact.
Yeah. Okay, so you know the creepy guy with the fake eyebrows, David Ferry, the dude who he's portrayed in a lot of mafia movies that has a lot of, stuff that has to do with the JFK assassination. His house is here on Canal Street. And I just saw it for the first time. He was the dude who wore the creepy fake eyebrows. Yeah, and apparently, if you saw The Irishman, he was in that. His name was David Ferry. Anyway, his home is like legit down the street from me, and so he is found mysteriously dead on the second floor. And they said it was like a blood
That's
clot.
right. That's
Yes.
right. I did
So
read
his
an article
house,
about that.
his house is down the street, bro. So like I'm driving the other day, and I'm like, wait a minute, I think that's a house. Sure enough, it's a house. It's his freaking death house right down the street. And apparently
he died with no money or anything, right?
No money. And apparently there's all this creepy shit that they found inside. But, you know, they think that he, with Lee Harvey Oswald, the beginning of the JFK assassination happened with the Marcellos here in New Orleans. And of course, the Marcello family on his deathbed famously is going in and out of dementia and says something along the lines of, you know, we got those boys, as he's going in and out of dementia and dies, you know? So to me...
Are you close to around where Marcello's house was?
Yes, and his grave. Apparently, there's a few graves at one of the, you know, more rather known cemeteries, because you know our cemeteries are really weird here. They're above ground.
Maybe you could bring us to it.
Yeah, totally. I was at the other day, the first madame here, the first girl who ran a brothel. I was at her grave the other day. It's notoriously haunted. Yeah, very creepy nun, but it's really cool because I'm like,
you got to bring us live from the.
It's really creepy. There. Yeah, I love the cemeteries here. They're so much fun. Yeah, yeah. We have a bar here called the Dungeon. That was a real dungeon. Yeah, I could go on and on.
So back in the day, were you there when Katrina happened?
Yep. Oh yeah, I was the first traffic reporter back on the radio afterwards. Yeah.
There was graves floating down the street.
Yep. Right? I saw it. I was on the 3rd floor of an apartment complex, and the military told us the next morning we had to go because the graveyard had bodies that had contaminated the water. So we had to go. And they had like a lot of people being helicopter rescued and stuff like that. I don't like movies or anything about that. Like I don't like to see anything about Katrina. I don't do it. They have a documentary out right now, and I can't even watch it. I don't like seeing anything about it. But yeah, it was really horrible time to be alive in the city. It really was.
It was. I remember when that happened. I was gonna go down there and volunteer, but I was on probation at the time.
Oh yeah. Right.
Real. Like for real, I really wanted to. I was like,
it was a rough time. I think the biggest like eye opener for me was the first time I went to a market afterwards, and we were rationed. So you could only get so much milk, so much eggs, so much, you know, cheese, because we were having a hard time getting groceries in and out. And in my opinion, the city never quite recovered. You know, there's a lot of things that just will never be the same. Namely, you know, Mississippi, Biloxi. Biloxi was a lot more fun, in my opinion, before Katrina. We had a lot of cool carnies and things like that. You know, it was called the White Trash Riviera, and you know, it was a lot of fun back then. And they've cleaned it up quite a bit. And I'm like, man, I kind of miss the white trash part of it. You know what I mean?
Like the Superdome. The Superdome was insane.
Yeah.
Dying in there.
Yeah, I know several people who lost people. Yeah, it was rough. The house across the street where I live, they actually, you can still see the graffiti, one dead in the attic. Yeah, and our neighbors have actually complained because they want it removed, and it's still there. Yeah, it's rough. It's rough. This city has we are definitely, you know, it's a rough city to live in. We, you know, if it rains here, we're underwater, unfortunately. Yeah, that's pretty much what it looked like. Yeah. And, you know, I wish I could say that is, you know, unheard of. Like, oh my God, look at the graves. But honestly, any New Orleans graveyard, you can go look into a crypt and see bones. You know, I could take you right now in my car and we could broadcast live, and I could probably show you a skull within the first 10 minutes of me going to a cemetery, because they just open the graves and schlep the people in. Yeah, 100%. If you've ever seen it done, so like the tombs, they basically just schlep the people in. Like, it's really creepy. Yeah, so you can see in there and everything. Yeah, they just throw them in.
Does it smell in there when you walk into it? Do you smell?
No, it's odd. The only time, now I will say this, there is one cemetery that I was in. This is so creepy. So when I first moved here, I was in Houma, which is kind of down in the bayou. That's called bayou country down there. So some of it is really creepy because, you know, bayou people and that. There's a lot of like voodoo type stuff and things like that.
Yeah, witchcraft and all that shit, right?
Yes. So my dad, he worked at a radio station out there, and it was literally on the bayou. And I specifically remember seeing police at the cemetery across the street, because it was above ground cemetery. First time I'd ever seen one. And the cops were like, hey, stay over here. And there was ash and what looked like some kind of dead animal. And I kid you not, it was they had broken into a crypt and they had stolen the skull for voodoo rituals. And there was all these ashes. And I was like, that was the last time I ever went to that cemetery. And that is a cemetery I remember that was jarring for me, because I was like 14 or 15, and you could smell the formaldehyde from behind the crypt because it's so rotted and you could smell it. And I remember being like, oh, that's what that is, you know, and freaking out. But yeah, they had literal like ashes and like some kind of carcass of an animal with all these symbols in the ground from where they had been doing, you know, God knows what. And a human skull, I kid you not, was taken. And it was a young girl's grave.
Thank you, bro. Yo,
Yeah.
Staxx, sign her as a co-host. Everyone watch your show.
Thanks. Like,
Yo,
it's so cool. Because, like,
yo,
usually I'm so creepy, and I'm glad people don't think so.
Can you read the title, bro? Women of the Mafia. This is the new show with me and her. She is the new co-host, bro.
It works out good, man. It works out good.
Yeah, we're going to be killing it, man. We're going to bring you guys some really good stories. We got the phone number for you guys to call when we're on live. We're going to do, we're going to have her bring us to the crypt, man. I want to see a skull.
I will totally bring it down. Yeah, I love, our cemeteries are so cool. And I'm a morbid Molly, so yeah, let's do it. 100%. Yeah, we'll go look, man. Yeah. Hey, yeah, I'll have to go by at night one time too. I went to a seance at one, like Halloween, and that was a lot of fun. Yeah, I went with this guy. Oh my God. Okay, so there was some pop song.
Slab, pillar, elevation, head, down and up.
Right in the river. 4th level concrete slab, pillar by elevator. Huh.
Yo, I really appreciate that 1999 Paulie Walnuts, man. Really appreciate you, bro. Sad situation about Jackie, the kid's daughter. Jackie might end up going to jail over that. What happened with that? Oh, the kid, right? Are they talking about the seance mom? The crazy mom?
Oh, yeah. Polly Walnuts, I agree. She's, oh, thank you. Thank you very much. I'll take it. Like I said, flattery will get you everywhere. Bring it. I like it. Tell me I'm pretty. I love it. See, I sit here and I'm like, these, you know, stupid bitches that go out with these mafia guys, and I probably would have been the stupidest idiot. Like, oh my God, you have a Cadillac? Oh my God, let's go. You know, he's connected, girl. He's connected.
What about Frank Costello? His tomb got blown up, didn't it?
Oh, I heard that.
Blow up Costello's tomb?
No, I didn't know that they knew who did it. Did he do it? They said he, like, sure. Hold on, oh man, I think you get a special place in hell if you like blow up somebody's tomb. You know what I mean? Like, God damn, you know? But I kind of love it. That's being pissed, dude. That's like letting a grudge go, you know? I wonder too, how many mafia operated, like, okay, so these guys, they probably operated a lot of like brothels, you know, because mafia was always notorious for that. So maybe like a lot of these girls, like through the beauty pageant circuit, they met these girls that, you know, were considered hot for the day. And, you know, I don't want to say turned them out, but kind of turned them out amongst the, you know, guys, the capos, the soldiers, you know, like, hey, you show us a good time, we'll show you a good time, you know? And you got to think, like, a lot of girls went on dates just to eat back then. I hate to say it, but like, you know, yeah.
They went on dates just to eat.
Just to eat, man. I remember my mother-in-law telling me once, God rest her soul, and her being like, well, you know, and the meal seemed good that night, so I went out with them, couldn't stand them. And I'm like, what? And she's like, well, it was a different time, Lisa. And I'm like, oh my God. But like, you know, I've been guilty of maybe going out with a guy, you know, back in my single days to go out to eat, maybe just because, you know, I wanted some food or something, you know. We're talking wings. I'm going to Hooters with you, man. We're going together, you know. If it's Hooters, I'm there. Yeah, I want them wings, man. So yeah, you know what I mean? So, you know, maybe it was scenarios like that. It was a different time, you know, life was dull and dreary.
I have a Harley.
You know, I've never been on a motorcycle. I'm dying to go on a motorcycle one day. So I'll take a ride on a Harley with you, man. I have never been on a motorcycle.
One time I was waiting for my girlfriend, right? I'm like sitting there waiting. I'm like, what the fuck? Why? How come you ain't pick up the phone? Oh, I took a ride on this guy's motorcycle. I'm like, what? Get the fuck out of here with that bullshit. Her hair's all like fucking all waved out and shit. Like, the fuck out of here.
Well, like, my mom is like the first, she's from Los Angeles. My mom's like an original Valley girl. So like, and you want to talk fucking crazy women. This woman, oh my God, she's so crazy. I love her though, crazy. My grandma dropped a car on somebody. So I come from a long line of crazy bitches. Let me just tell you. So my mom would always tell me, I forgot what I was saying with this because I got sidetracked with my grandma dropping a car on somebody. Yeah. I probably shouldn't have said that. I probably shouldn't have said that, huh? Yeah. But yeah, long line. She dropped a car. Yeah, I was going to save this for a rainy day. Yes. So, okay, my mom, when she's, I'm trying to see if I'm going to get in a lot of trouble for this. So my mom, when she was younger, got in trouble. My grandmother, being the one that she is, drove to where this guy was to talk to him. So I guess it was her version of a sit down. And she pulls up on the guy. He's under the car and his feet are sticking out. And she kicked up the thing. I don't know what it is. And she said she waited to walk away and call the police after he stopped kicking. Yeah. And she got acquitted because it was an accident and nobody was like grieving for this guy. So yeah.
She got arrested for it.
Yeah. And then she got acquitted. There was like a whole court case. And she later was like, you know, hey, accidents happen.
Wow, that's crazy.
So yeah, so maybe I have some weird thing that can identify with these type of broads. You know what I mean? Maybe I can identify with them and I'm like, hey, you know what? You crazy, I'm crazy. I got your crazy. You know, so I hear you, Janice Drake. You know, you go out on a date, next thing you know, you're capped in the head in the back of some guy's, you know, Cadillac. What the hell?
I live over here in Connecticut and you're way down.
I would never be a mafia jinx though. No way.
In the trunk, still alive. Man, can you imagine being stuck in the trunk and they're driving?
Hell no.
You can't get out. I mean, there's so much that we could talk about with the Murder Incorporated and everybody that was involved. There was a lot of women involved back then.
Yeah.
A lot of damsels. The woman in red, right? That was with Dillinger.
Yeah, who set him up, that bitch. Yep. Set him up. And we all know she set him up, you know? You know who else is kind of a baddie who I get into? Not really mafia, but I always kind of think it's kind of badass is Bonnie, you know, from Bonnie and Clyde.
Yeah.
She's a bit of a badass, man. I mean, she shot a cop and then jokingly says, that man's head bounced like a rubber ball. Witnesses hear her say that, laughs, gets in a car, and drives away. What a badass. Like, how cold.
Of course, we got to do one on Bonnie and Clyde.
Yeah, that's not too far from here either. I've always been wanting to go to that. Yeah, where they set them up and everything. That's out in the bayous. Yep.
Yeah, because they came around the corner and they just lit the car up. They didn't even.
She was eating a sandwich. She was taking a bite, either of a sandwich or an apple. I don't know the museum, but there's a museum in Texas that has like, right, you can see the car. I've seen it. It's really cool. And you can actually, I think they have her the hat she was wearing and like a couple articles of clothing.
Well, you know, when we put together a show, it'll be good because we already did one and it's pretty good. I edited it. And it's ready.
Time got away from me on that one because I was having so much fun.
Bonnie and Clyde car.
Yeah. Oh, they got shot up. Shot up. Also, reading a little bit of Clyde. So, like, I guess he was bi. What the hell?
What?
Yeah, I just read about him. So apparently he was, you know, bisexual. I guess before the term bi was around. Yeah. Apparently he had some things happen in prison. You can look it up. True. He was apparently pretty effeminate too. Like he was an effeminate guy, and Bonnie was more of the masculine one between the two of them, from what I understand.
What?
Yeah, I know. See, I'm a vast like thing of like useless information, dude. Like I could go on and on about this all night, all day, you know. But Bonnie, she was the more savage of the two. Like I told you, she went and capped that cop, no problem, like no hesitation, in front of witnesses. You know, my girl didn't care. She was like, you know, we have a bank to rob and it's the Depression and we got places to go, you know?
Yeah, she wanted that money. She didn't care.
Want that money. Right.
The car.
Yeah.
They didn't give them a chance. They just they Swiss cheese the car.
Oh, God, did they ever, man. I think they were just so desperate to take him out, you know? So they were just, you know, in a blaze of glory, man. Yeah. And I mean, her body, if you look at those pictures, they ripped that bitch up.
Yeah, I can't really show the pictures on here because, you know.
I mean, you can Google it. Yeah, they're there. I mean, they're definitely.
They earned their badges, Omerta.
Yeah.
Yo, I want to ask you a question. What's this say? Sturmason? What about the people who have Omerta tattooed all across their arms and they're rats? What about those people? I want to know. I really do.
What is that? That's loyalty?
Yeah, the one. Omerta means keep your mouth shut.
And right? They have it on the ratting.
Rats. Like this in pictures. Big ass Omerta tattoos.
That's funny.
And they're fucking rats.
And they're rats. Go figure.
Oxymoron. So
Well, like at the end of the day, that's the thing with Sammy is like, hey, look, mad respect for Sammy because he made something out of nothing, coming forward with his story and owning it. But in the same breath, you did rat. You know what I mean? At the end of the day,
squeak,
I would never tell him anything. I wouldn't tell him jack. I'd be like, hey, dude, you're awesome in my book. But yeah. So I mean,
I'd tell him.
And basically he ratted because he hears this like tape of Gotti saying that he's going to get punished, right? And so that's why he ultimately ratted on Gotti, right? Like that's
honestly, I think he had a thought of ratting before he even
before.
Yeah, I think he had an idea of what he was going to do before he did.
Gotcha. 100%. Maybe he just had it. Yeah. Yeah, I never been to New York or New Jersey, but I've talked to people who were growing up there at the time, and they said Gotti was kind of like a hometown hero, and he was known for like at the clubs, like buying like rounds of drinks for people, and
I think I remember him being on the news and shit.
Yeah. So I mean,
big deal. Like it was
the Dapper Don, yeah. And you got to give him credit because like he was
Gotti or he
charismatic.
Would die. Hey, maybe you should have took the latter.
Yeah. And Gotti, he ends up dying in prison, right?
Yeah, strapped to a bed.
Ah, poor bastard. Damn, huh? What a way to go.
It's just, I don't know. I don't like how, if you see the list of victims from Sammy the Bull, it's huge. The list is huge.
And admittedly so. Yeah, he's a mafia killer, man. Yeah.
Yeah, and his ass is he flaunts it. Like I don't like the way he still thinks he's a gangster, and he's not. He's not a gangster.
Yeah.
He's a fucking rat.
I watched the show that had was his granddaughter and his daughter on it. And so his daughter, is, I think she was in an interracial relationship. So Sammy had to accept that. And I think that was really hard for him. But I will say the parts that I've seen, he's like a stand-up grandfather. I know that's bizarre to say, but he like really, like the little girl is very gorgeous and he gives her some really sage advice. Like I've been very impressed with the couple shows that I've seen, and like he'll give her this really great deep advice and be, and it's like you forget for a moment that it's Sammy the Bull, and you think it's just a grandfather talking to his granddaughter.
Bullshit.
Well, very well, yeah. I mean,
because come on, he had his kids selling pills after he got off with the murders and all that shit. He has his kids selling ecstasy.
Yeah,
he was involved with the ecstasy ring. I don't give a shit what anybody says. There's so much evidence on him that he was involved, and we'll dive into that, and we'll talk about Sammy Gravano and his wife and how their relationship. He killed his brother-in-law. He killed his wife's brother. So we could get into all of that shit.
Okay, this guy asked, what would happen if Sammy and Iceman hung up on the holidays? I love it. Now the Iceman, okay, that's somebody else I'm fascinated with, okay? That guy, his way of disposing people was genius. I mean, I've never heard of that even being done before. And that HBO documentary where he gives those interviews, I don't think I've ever seen a more precise, haunting interview with anybody. You know what I mean? He's so very, and it's weird.
A guy in my town, not in my town, in my state, just got arrested in a ice cream truck trying to kidnap a girl, 10-year-old.
Oh my God.
Grabbed her, pulled her into the truck and took off. And she ended up getting away, and they caught him.
Holy shit.
That's one of the things that his friend was doing, right? The ice cream
truck. Yeah, that's true. Oh God, that was such a scary, and that was a scary story. Yeah, and he was the one that came up with the aerosol spray. So he would like go in a club. So, they have infamously this, where he gets the aerosol spray with the poison in it, and he goes to the club to try it out and just like dances up to a dude and sprays him in the face and kills him. Yeah. Right, exactly. And then they actually have newspaper clippings online where you can see, and it's like, mystery heart attack in the middle of nightclub, So, he was coming up with ingenious ways to kill people. I like the story about the guy who he had to eat the sandwich. He gives them a sandwich. They go get sandwiches. They go to a hotel room, and he put poison in his. And so
because the guy left or something. He went to go see his family during Christmas time.
Something like that. Yeah.
And then leave this room. And
then they had the other story about where he took the dude and he said the one that he regretted. Do you remember this? Oh my God. Oh, this haunted me. So he says the guy's praying and crying and he says, okay, I'll tell you what, I'll give you an hour. You pray to your God. And if he comes down and intervenes, I won't kill you.
Let you go. Yeah,
And so he gives this poor dude a fucking hour where he's like pleading and begging for God, you know, and it never happens. And he has to kill him. And your boy's like, I know. And then the crazy thing is like, you know, the interview with him and he's like, I felt kind of bad for that. And you're like, oh my God, this fucking guy, you know, but that's a fascinating interview with that one. And, you know, come to find out he's married with 2 daughters that are now like, have you seen the interviews with her, the Iceman's wife? That poor girl. Dear Lord. Yeah.
Can you imagine the shock that she felt when he said, I'm a serial killer?
Yeah, like, yeah. Like, yeah, you know, like, you're about to get woke, sis, you know? Like, oh my God, dude, seriously. Oh, I thought that said the princess is kinky.
Who else? I want to talk about some of the Philadelphia Mafia.
Yeah.
Nicky Scarfo and killing Salvi Testa.
Yeah. Those are also great, yeah. I mean, you know, great in the way that they're savage and they're fascinating stories. Like I said, you got to kind of admire these guys. You know what I mean? Like they definitely had hustle. You know, I consider myself a hustler all night, all day. So I always kind of respect it in some weird way. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, none of us can really choose where we come from, right? So,
you know what you can choose though? You can choose to be a or not.
Yeah, true. I know secrets on all kinds of people, and I don't open my mouth. Yep, I haven't said Jack, and I never will. What?
Hey,
I learned enough. Yeah, take a note from Janice Drake, you know?
Yeah, take a note from her and the rest of these guys who opened their mouth and got dealt with. Go check out William Steele's book, Gasoline.
Wow, that bitch.
Go check out Anthony Raimundi's book, When the Bullet Hits the Bone. And go check out Crime and Entertainment Podcast. There's a whole bunch of other podcasts. Go check out Mafia Truth. There's a whole bunch of them. OC Shorts. The Members Only Podcast. Go check out that one's a really good podcast. It's about different organized crime figures. It's called The Members Only Podcast. There's another one called A Few Bad Men. Go check those out. And I appreciate you joining me today.
Yeah, this is fun. We could do this all day, right?
What, all day long?
All day long. Just talk about it.
Yeah, I could do it all day, but I have a real life.
Yeah, same here. Unfortunately, we got to stop and break for real life in between. You know, but yeah,
in between we'll take. Yeah, this will be our main life, and then we'll take breaks for real life in between.
Right.
The phone number for when we're doing the show, you guys can hit it up, and we're definitely going to be back with more shows. I appreciate you taking the time for me, Lisa.
Yeah, thanks for having me. So much fun, man. Let's do it again.
Definitely. You already know. So make sure you guys hit the like, subscribe, and notification bell so you can get our videos every time they drop. And hey, hit us with a donation. It helps the channel. But I'm not begging. Hey, if you can't, share the video. Do something with yourself. Hi, people. People are asking, where are you from?
Me, New Orleans. I was born in California, though. But I say I'm from New Orleans because I've been here for so long. So I earned it. Yeah.
All right. Thank you. And till the next
I like you too, Joe. I like you too. So, yeah.
Peace, everybody. Have a great